brother. I bought a little game called Silent Hill 2. I don't know if you ever heard of it. And I think one of the Silent Hill creeps got in my audio for the last video, man. I had to go out and buy an entirely new microphone. Let's see if we can fix this whole thing with some combo breakers. Killer Instinct, you remember that game? You remember that werewolf guy? He was awesome, man. Best fighting game character. He's rolling around out there with his big old claws. But he had that combo breaker. You guys are getting pub stopped. You're getting comboed into dust at the LGS. You're going to need some instant speed cards to break those combos, mess up their win. Nothing better than the look on a combo player's face when you interrupt their combo. So listen, man, if you like this stuff, leave a like, subscribe. There's a Patreon, there's a damn YouTube membership with emojis and stuff on there. Better Commander is completely funded by you bros. No shady billionaires here. You think I take loot from Eduardo Gregorian? Nah, man. You think I'm taking corporate dark money? You won't hear me pushing Ozempic here for cash payouts. Special thanks to the patrons. They have a special third eye that opens once during the full moon. You can get that too if you want. They're a bunch of great dudes. Some of them are werewolves even. So for purposes of this video, we're looking at instant speed solutions, not proactive stacks pieces or stuff that happens at sorcery speed. We want to react to a threat with maximum versatility. There are certainly sorcery speed tax and stacks pieces that fit this theme though, if you look for them. What always gets me thinking about this subject is a neat little card named Dress Down. So this is 1 in a blue for an enchantment, has flash. When it enters, draw a card. Creatures lose all abilities. At the beginning of the end step, sacrifice Dress Down. So in an enchantment deck, you run this card. Flash it in response to a creature popping off. Most decks are built around the commander's ability. You want to plop this in on an opponent's upkeep, tamp down their game plan. Now, sudden spoiling is what happens when your Tinder date starts talking about flat earth conspiracies and birds aren't real, stuff like that. It's 1 black for an instant, split second. Until end of turn, creatures target player controls lose all abilities. Have base power and toughness 0-2. The cool thing about this card is they can't put anything else on the stack. It's the most instant of all instants. Plus this guy has that emo goth drip. Looks like the god killer from Thor Ragnarok. Now this is one of my all-time favorites, Mystic Reflection. 1 in a blue for an instant, choose target non-legendary creature. The next time 1 or more creatures or planeswalkers enter this turn, they enter as copies of the chosen creature. Has foretell for 1 blue mana. So this can really screw over a Thassa's Oracle player out there as long as there's another non-legendary creature on the board. Fantastic card, very tricky. Now how about this guy, Extirpate? So this is 1 black mana for an instant, has split second. Choose target card in a graveyard other than a basic land card. Search its owner's graveyard, hand, and library for all cards with the same name as that card and exile them. So if you face a lot of graveyard decks, like the ones old Nicky G makes, you might want to metagame this card. Look at this poor bald fella, he's out there getting extirpated. Kind of similar to Surgical Extraction. So this is a black Phyrexian for an instant. You know, choose target card in a graveyard other than a basic land card, blah, blah, blah. It's basically the same thing, but it's probably better to do surgery in a more sterile environment, you know? But if somebody did this to the thing I just entombed, I'd probably be pretty bummed. I might remove my own spine as well. Damn, man, this card is pricey. How about Trick Bind out there? 1 in a blue for an instant, has split second, counter target activated or triggered ability. If a permanent's ability is countered this way, activated abilities of that permanent can't be activated this turn. This really just needs a reprint. Blue has lots of effects like this, but green doesn't. Or do they? Well, they have Bind. So this is 1 in a green, instant, counter target activated ability. Mana abilities can't be targeted. Draw a card. So this is activated abilities only, which is also pretty potent. I like this card because it replaces itself. And we also have the Soul Guide Lantern. Fantastic card, 1 generic mana for an artifact. When this guy enters, exile target card from a graveyard, has tap, sacrifice it, exile each opponent's graveyard. This activated ability can be activated at instant speed in response to graveyard shenanigans. Now this guy's one of my favorites out of Baldur's Gate, the Green Slime. 2 in a green for a creature, Ooze. It's a 2/2 with flash. When this guy enters, counter target activated or triggered ability from an artifact or enchantment source. If a permanent's ability is countered this way, destroy that permanent. Has foretell for 1 green mana. Love this card, only 82 cents. Does not work on mana abilities. You can't snipe a Soul Ring with this, you can't react to it, but you can snipe all kinds of other stuff. Works great on enchantments like Enchantress's Presence and my favorite combo piece, Basalt Monolith. Try untap and nope dude, you got slimed. And like a lot of my ex-girlfriends, we enjoy the silence, brother. Silence is 1 white mana for an instant. Your opponents can't cast spells this turn. Second video in a row I've mentioned Depeche Mode. Let's make it a tradition. Just kidding, man. I used to work 80s night at this bar, and I heard a lot of Depeche Mode. It was the worst goddamn thing I've ever lived through in my entire life, man. Depeche Mode is how you serve a pie. It's not a band, brother. Now, I know you guys tune in for the underrated bangers, and this is one. The Overcharged Amalgam. 2 blue, creature zombie horror. It's a 3/3 with flash and flying. Has exploit. When this guy exploits a creature, counter target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. First of all, the art on this guy is nuts. I'm going to put it in the video somewhere, probably right after I say that. This guy can just exploit himself like old Nicky G on OnlyFans, dude. I've used this card in zombie decks just as like a oh heck counter spell. Sisters of Silence is another version of this that costs a little more but has no downside, doesn't fly. Got that psychic abomination, brother. I have to see her without the mask, but I think I dated this lady for about a year. Then we have Urtai Resurrected. This guy's 2 blue and a black, legendary creature, Phyrexian human wizard. It's a 3/2, has flash. When this guy enters, choose up to 1. Counter target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. Its controller draws a card. Or destroy another target creature or planeswalker. Its controller draws a card. This guy's kind of similar, but doesn't exploit, gives away a card instead. But he's way more handsome. You know, he's got that sweet mommy makeover, dude. He got hair plugs from his prior incarnation, which I'm going to flash up here. Look at this poor unfortunate soul. Now, speaking of flash creatures, these 3 deserve a mention to stop a combo before they even start. The Opposition Agent. This guy, I hate this guy. 2 and a black, creature, human rogue. It's a 3/2 with flash. You control your opponents while searching their libraries. So you got to stick your hands in their sleeve, you know, you kind of make their hands do stuff like a damn puppet. I have mixed feelings about this card. In a competitive environment, this is messing up vampiric tutors, things like that. But in a casual environment, I've seen this in response to somebody cracking those horrible fetch lands like Myriad Landscape, Terramorphic. What a bummer, man. Don't do that. Plus, the art on this thing sucks. And of course, the Aven Mind Sensor, 2 and a white, creature, bird wizard. It's a 2/1 with flash and flying. If an opponent would search a library, that player searches the top 4 cards of that library instead. Damn bird wizard. This guy swoops in with his Gandalf staff and we're all screwed. Notion Thief, man, I love this card, dude. 2 blue and a black, creature, human rogue. It's a 3/1 with flash. If an opponent would draw a card except the first one they draw on each of their draw steps, instead that player skips that draw and you draw a card. I know, people have all kinds of emotions right now, alright, but trust me. If you're in Dimir, just run this guy. Lots of combos involve drawing cards, and this can muck that right up, dude. Don't draw yourself out, though. Bonus points if you're in a wheel deck. How about this card, Hallowed Moonlight? 1 and a white for an instant. Till end of turn, if a creature would enter and it wasn't cast, exile it instead. This kills Deadeye loops. It also has draw a card right on it. Also want to highlight this card for Reanimator decks, but man, this hard screws over Blink decks so good. Those decks don't have a ton of hard counters, you know, but a Brago deck cries when you cast this card. Now, this is an interesting 3 mana counter spell as long as they don't have infinite mana. Whirlwind Denial. 2 and a blue for an instant for each spell and ability your opponents control. Counter it unless its controller pays 4. This can stop those Deadeye loops before they start. Just listen, counter spells are great, man. I do want to mention them, even though not every color has access. Sometimes I'm surprised by the off-color counter magic though, like Lapse of Certainty, you know. It's a great card. I hate it when my face falls off though. Okay, last one here, Tail's End. 1 and a blue for an instant. Counter target activated ability, triggered ability, or legendary spell. Simple, effective, broad, and can really screw up a commander. If you have an Ur-Dragon deck, you know, that you're running against, or similarly high-costed commander about to come out, that's the end of that tail, dude. But it's the beginning of yours, brother. Your tale has just begun. Listen, I want to encourage you guys to go after whatever dream or thing you've been thinking about doing. You don't give yourself enough credit, man. You can do it. I don't know if anybody ever told you that before, but I'm telling you right now, like I'm your dad, dude. Just go do it. I know it might take years, but you can do it, man. Nicky G, Better Commander, signing off.